Welcome to Storytime Fun, boys and girls. We hope you enjoy. Today's story is called The Wizard of Oz, written by L. Frank Baum. Adaptation of the beloved story, especially prepared for younger readers, by Alan Chaffee. "Cyclone, cyclone!" Uncle Henry shouted. "I'll go look after the stock." "Quick, Dorothy!" Aunt Em screamed. "Run for the cellar!" But Dorothy ran to get Toto, her little dog. He had jumped out of her arms and was hiding under the bed. Aunt Em threw open the trap door in the floor and climbed down the ladder into the small, dark hole. Dorothy caught Toto at last and started toward the trap door to follow her aunt. Suddenly, there came a great shriek from the wind. The house shook so hard that Dorothy lost her footing and found herself sitting on the floor. Then a strange thing happened. The house whirled around 2 or 3 times and rose slowly through the air. Dorothy felt dizzy as it rocked and swayed. It was very dark, and the wind howled horribly around her, but soon the house seemed to be gliding more easily. Hour after hour passed. At last, Dorothy crawled over the swaying floor to her bed and lay down. Toto kept close to her. And then Dorothy fell fast asleep. She was awakened by a great bump. Dorothy sat up. The house wasn't moving, and it was no longer dark outside. Sunshine came in at the window. Dorothy and her little dog ran outside. A little old woman, all in sparkling white, stood smiling at her. Behind her, 3 little old men took off their hats and bowed. "Welcome," the little old woman said, "to the land of the Munchkins, and we are grateful to you for killing the wicked witch of the East. You have set us free." "Did I kill her?" Dorothy could not understand. "Well, your house fell on her," replied the old woman with a laugh. "And that is the same thing." She pointed to a corner of the house. Dorothy looked. An ugly old witch, all in black, was just fading away, all but her 2 feet in silver shoes. Dorothy was frightened. Are you a witch?" she asked the little old woman. "Yes, but I am the good witch. I am the witch of the north," the little woman told her. "The witch of the south is good too. Your house fell on one of the bad witches, and now there is only one wicked witch left in the land of Oz, the one who lives in the west." "But Aunt Em said there are no witches anymore," Dorothy told her. "Who is Aunt Em?" asked the witch of the north. "She lives in Kansas, and I live with her," Dorothy told her sadly. "Or I did." "Is Kansas a civilized country?" "Oh, yes," replied Dorothy. "Then that accounts for it," the witch of the north said. "I've heard that there were no witches left in the civilized countries. But you see, the land of Oz has never been civilized, so it still has witches and wizards." "What are wizards?" Dorothy wanted to know. The witch whispered, "Oz himself is the great wizard. He lives in the city of emeralds." Dorothy was going to ask another question, but just then the Munchkins, who had been standing silently by, gave a shout and pointed. Dorothy and the witch of the north looked. The feet of the dead witch had disappeared entirely, and nothing was left but the silver shoes. The little old woman handed the shoes to Dorothy. "Why don't you wear them, dear? We think they may have magic charm, but we don't know what it is." Dorothy tried them on. They were a perfect fit. Then she said to the Munchkins, "I want to get back to my aunt and uncle. I am sure they are worried about me. Can you help me find my way?" They all shook their heads. The first Munchkin pointed. "To the east lies a great desert." The next Munchkin pointed. "To the south, the woods are full of wild beasts." The third Munchkin pointed. "The west, where the yellow Winkies live, is ruled by the wicked witch of the west. She would make you her slave if you passed her way." The little old woman took off her pointed cap and balanced it on the tip of her nose. 1, 2, 3, she counted. "Tell us which way Dorothy should go." The cap suddenly changed to a slate. On it was printed, "Let Dorothy go to the city of emeralds." The little old woman spoke. "There, now you know where to go. Perhaps Oz, the great wizard, will help you." How can I get there?" Dorothy asked, picking up Toto. "You must walk," the little old woman told her. "It's a long, long journey, but just follow the yellow brick road." The three Munchkins bowed to Dorothy. "Have a pleasant journey," they said. The little old woman kissed her on the forehead. "No one will dare to hurt a person with my kiss on her forehead," she said, and where her lips had touched, they left a shining mark. Then the witch whirled 3 times on one heel and was gone. Dorothy started along the yellow brick road, and Toto followed. The silver shoes tinkled gaily as the little girl walked. She had not gone far when she came to a cornfield. She saw a scarecrow placed high on a pole to keep the birds away from the ripe corn. He waved one arm at her and called out, "I'm tired of being up here." "Can't you get down?" Dorothy called. "No, because this pole is stuck up my back. Will you please take the pole away?" Dorothy lifted him off the pole. "Thanks," he said. "If I had any brains, I'd have thought of that way myself." "Haven't you any brains?" Dorothy asked in surprise. "No, you see, I'm stuffed, so I have no brains at all," he told her sadly. "Then come with me," Dorothy urged, "and I'll ask the wonderful Wizard of Oz to give you some brains." Little Toto sniffed at the scarecrow. "Oh, don't mind Toto," Dorothy told her new friend. "He never bites." "Oh, I'm not afraid," replied the scarecrow. "I couldn't feel it even if he did. The only thing I'm afraid of is a lighted match." They hadn't gone far when they came to a great forest, and there, holding up an axe, stood a woodman all made of tin. He groaned and tried to speak, but his jaws were rusty. "You poor thing!" Dorothy looked around till she found his oil can. There! She oiled his jaws. The woodman gave a creak and a squeak before he could speak. "Oh, that's better. Now oil my elbow," he begged. "I have not been able to bend that arm for more than a year. Oh, all my joints are rusted." Dorothy oiled his arms and legs. The Tin Woodman gave a great sigh of relief and lowered his axe. He told his story. "Once I was a real man with a warm heart. and I loved a girl. But the wicked witch of the East wanted to keep her a slave. She didn't want us to marry, so she laid an evil spell on my axe." "That axe?" Dorothy breathed. "Yes." The Tin Woodman swung it at the tree and cut off a branch. "First, it cut off my leg. I had to find a tinsmith who could make me a new one. Then it cut off my other leg. The tinsmith made me a new one. Next, the axe cut off my arms. The tinsmith made me some new ones. And when the axe cut off my head, he made me a new one. And so it went. Without a heart, I lost the love for my little Munchkin girl." "Come with me," said Dorothy, "and ask Oz to give you a heart so that you can marry the Munchkin maiden." So the three of them set out. Dorothy, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Woodman, with little Toto trotting alongside. On and on and on they went, down the yellow brick road to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Now, Dorothy and her friends were walking through a deep woods. The road was still of yellow brick, but dry leaves and branches strewed their way. Now and then they heard a growl from some beast hidden among the trees. Dorothy's heart beat fast with fear. "How long will it be," she asked the Tin Woodman, "before we're out of the forest?" "I don't know, for I have never been to the Emerald City," he told her. "But my father went there once, and he said it was a long way." Suddenly, they heard a loud roar. A lion bounded into the road. With one blow of his paw, he knocked the Scarecrow over. Then he struck the Tin Woodman with his claws. The woodman fell down and lay still. Little Toto barked at the lion. The great beast opened his mouth and showed his sharp teeth. Dorothy rushed forward and slapped the lion on his nose. "Don't you bite, Toto!" she cried. "For shame! A big beast like you to bite a poor little dog!" I didn't bite him," the lion pointed out. "No, but you tried to," she told him. "You are nothing but a big coward." "I know it," said the lion, hanging his head. "And to think of your striking a straw man," Dorothy scolded as the Scarecrow got to his feet. "Is he straw? So that's why it was easy," the lion said. "Is the other one stuffed too?" "No, he's made of tin," Dorothy told him as the woodman got to his feet. "So that's why he nearly blunted my claws," the lion said. "And is that little thing made of tin?" "No," Dorothy told him. "Toto is a real dog." The lion spoke sadly. "I am a coward, or I wouldn't have tried to bite such a little thing." "What makes you a coward?" Dorothy asked him, for the lion was as big as a small horse. "I don't know." The lion wiped away a tear under the tip of his tail. "A lion is supposed to be the king of the beasts, but I'm so scared of everything." "Well, that isn't right," said the Scarecrow. "The king of the beasts is supposed to have courage." "Perhaps the great Oz could give you courage. Come with us," Dorothy invited him. "We are going to see the Wizard of Oz." "I will," the lion agreed. Again, they set off along the yellow brick road. The lion walked at Dorothy's side. Once the Tin Woodman stepped on a beetle. It made him very unhappy, for he was always careful not to hurt any living creature, and he began to weep. The tears would have rusted his jaws, but luckily the Scarecrow prevented this by oiling them. After a while, they came to a field of big red poppies. The smell of the flowers was so strong, it made Dorothy sleepy, and she yawned and and lay down. "Get up!" The woodman pulled her to her feet. "If you stay here, you will sleep forever." For a time, she walked between the woodman and the scarecrow. Then she fell fast asleep. Toto lay down beside her. The scarecrow and the woodman made a chair of their hands and carried Dorothy and Toto. Because they were not made of flesh, the woodman and the scarecrow were not bothered by the smell of the flowers. But the lion yawned. "Oh, run fast," the scarecrow told him. "If you fall asleep, you're too big to be carried." So the lion ran to get out of the poppy field. The scarecrow and the woodman walked on toward the road. They passed the lion. Oh, he was fast asleep. "He'll sleep forever," they said sadly. Once they were out of the poppy field, they carried Dorothy to a pretty spot beside the river and waited for the breeze to waken her. "We can't be far from the yellow brick road," the scarecrow said. "Yow!" A strange beast came leaping toward them. It was a wildcat. It was chasing a little gray field mouse. The woodman raised his axe and killed the wildcat. The little mouse squeaked, "Oh, thank you. You have saved my life." "I try to help anyone who needs a friend," the woodman said, "even if it's only a mouse." "Only a mouse?" cried the little animal. "I am a queen, the queen of all field mice." The woodman bowed. 3 mice came running. "Oh, your majesty," they cried, "we thought you'd be killed." And they bowed so low they almost stood on their heads. "This Tin Man saved my life, so we must all obey his wishes," said the little queen. "What can we do?" they asked. Maybe you can save the lion?" the scarecrow told them. "He's asleep in the poppy field." "A lion?" The little queen shook with fright. "He'd eat us all up." "Oh, no," said the scarecrow. "This lion is a coward." What shall we do?" the little queen asked bravely. "How many mice call you queen?" the scarecrow asked of her. "Oh, thousands," she told him. "Then send for all of them," he bade her, "and tell each one to bring a piece of string." He turned to the woodman. "Now, if you will cut down some trees, we will make a truck." The Tin Woodman set to work with his axe. Now the mice came running from all sides, and each had a piece of string in its mouth. Dorothy awoke, surprised. "Her Majesty, the Queen," the scarecrow introduced them. Next, he helped the woodman harness the mice to the truck, where they had thousands of mice. All pulling, the truck began to move. The scarecrow and the woodman rolled the lion onto it. Then they pushed from behind. Between them all, they got the lion out of the danger zone. Dorothy thanked the little queen and her helpers. "Goodbye," they all squeaked and scampered home. The scarecrow picked up some fruit for Dorothy, for she was hungry. At last, the lion woke up, and now they started on again to find the Wizard of Oz. Soon they noticed a beautiful green glow in the sky. They were approaching Emerald City. In time, they came to a big gate, all studded with emeralds. They rang the bell, and a little man dressed in green answered. "We have come," Dorothy told him, "to see the great Oz."
"First," said the guardian of the gate, "you must put on glasses. The brightness of the Emerald City would blind you."
So he fitted green glasses on Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Woodman, and the Lion, and even on little Toto. Then he put on his own glasses and said he would show them to the palace. Emerald City sparkled in the sun. The pavement was green, the houses were green, and even the sky looked green above. The people all wore green and had greenish skins. Men with pushcarts had green popcorn for sale. They came to the palace where a soldier with long green beard stood before the door.
"They want to see the great Oz," the guardian of the gate told the soldier. "Step inside," the soldier bade them. "Wipe your feet," and he pointed to the green mat. "Please make yourselves comfortable," he told them now. "I'll tell Oz you are here."
It was a long time before he came back. "Well, did you see Oz?" Dorothy asked.
"No," the soldier told her. "I have never seen him. No one has. He always sits behind a screen. But he said he'd see you. That is, he will see one of you each day. So, since you'll be here for several days, I'll have to show you to your rooms."
Now, a maid with a lovely green hair and green eyes led them through several hallways and up 3 flights of stairs. "This will be your room," she told Dorothy. The bed had green sheets and a tiny fountain shot green perfume into the air. The maid showed each of them to a room, and the lion curled up on his bed like a cat. Next day, Dorothy wore one of the pretty green dresses she found in the closet and went to see Oz. The throne room was round with a high arched roof. The throne itself was like a chair, but it sparkled with emeralds. And in the center of it was an enormous head with no body, no arms, and no legs. Dorothy heard it say,
"I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?"
"I am Dorothy, the small and meek," she told him. "I have come to you for help."
The voice spoke again. "Where did you get the silver shoes?"
"Oh," said Dorothy, "they belong to the Wicked Witch of the East, before my house fell on her and killed her."
"And where did you get the magic mark on your forehead?" the voice asked.
"Oh, that is where the Good Witch of the North kissed me goodbye," Dorothy told him. "She sent me to you." The Great Oz asked,
"And what do you wish me to do?"
"Send me home to Kansas," she begged him.
"What will you do for me in return?" Oz demanded.
"What must I do?" Dorothy asked him.
"Kill the Wicked Witch of the West," he answered.
How can I do that?" Dorothy cried.
"You wear the silver shoes, and they bear a powerful charm," he told her.
I don't know what it is," Dorothy wailed. "Besides,
"Remember," he said sternly, "this witch is wicked and ought to be killed. Now go!"
Dorothy left the throne room and afraid she would never see home again. Next day, when the Scarecrow was admitted to the throne room, there sat a lovely gauze-winged lady, all in green. But the voice that came from her lips said, I am Oz, the Terrible. Who are you?
I am a scarecrow stuffed with straw.
And he bowed low.
I came to ask you if you would put some brains into my head.
If you will kill the Wicked Witch of the West, the voice told him, I shall make you the wisest man in the land of Oz.
The next day, the Tin Woodman had his turn. This time a beast sat on the throne. It was as big as an elephant, and it had 5 long arms and 5 legs. His hair was woolly. I am Oz, it roared. Who are you?
I am a woodman made of tin, the other one said. I have no heart, and therefore I cannot love. Pray give me a heart, that I may be a man once more.
Help Dorothy kill the Wicked Witch, said Oz, and I will give you the biggest heart in the land of Oz.
The next day the soldier led the lion to the throne room. This time there was nothing to be seen but a ball of fire. The lion backed away. A low voice sounded,
I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you?
I am a cowardly lion, the other said in a small voice. I am afraid of everything. I beg of you to give me courage. The ball of fire burned fiercely.
Bring me proof, the voice said, when the Wicked Witch is dead.
The lion turned his tail and rushed from the room. He told his friends what had happened. We must find the Wicked Witch and destroy her, they decided. The next day, they left Emerald City. At the gate, the guardian took off their green glasses.
Keep to the west, where the sun sets, he told them.
So on they went, and on, and on, and on, and on. And that's where we're going to stop for the end of part 1 today of Wizard of Oz. And we'll get part 2 to you tomorrow. So that's it for today. Thank you. See you next time.